In the video today, I'm going to be making over this piece behind me, but I'm not going to be using green for a change. Yep, you heard right. We're not going to be using green at all on this project. Now that might surprise you because it is my favourite colour to work with, blues and greens, that kind of colour palette. However, since the start of the year, I have had non-stop commissions, which I'm very grateful for, and I've been working on those in the background behind the usual content that you see here and on my other social media. And every single custom order has been green. So I do feel like swapping it up a little bit, changing it up a little bit, using colours that I wouldn't ordinarily use, because I do like a little bit of variety in my work. It can get a little bit kind of monotonous if you're using the same old thing over and over again. So we're not going to be using greens or blues. In fact, I might put a little bit of blue. I'll just throw that disclaimer in there, but we're not going to be using that as the main colour. So I've already done the prep work for this piece because the piece was waxed. As you know, you do have to remove wax before you can paint a piece of furniture, because your paint won't stick. If it does stick, it won't be for long. It's going to chip, it's going to peel. So if you don't do the correct prep work, it's not going to last very long. So I've already stripped the wax and I've already covered that in a video on my channel. So I will link a video top right now if you did want to have a little bit more of a detailed look at how to remove wax before you paint your furniture. So moving swiftly on. So this entire thing is going to be painted using different types of rollers to achieve a heavily distressed, layered kind of look. The first thing I'm going to do is put my base coat on, and I'm going to use a foam roller. So I'm going to line my roller tray with foil, and that way I don't have to keep washing my roller trays out, because I don't know about you, but I hate that job. This way, once you finish, you can just take the foil out, roll it up and throw it away. As I mentioned, this is a foam roller, and I'm just going straight over the top of raw wood. I haven't primed this piece because the wood tone is quite red. The paint colour that I'm using is red. The bleed through isn't going to be that obvious by the time I've layered up. Even if it does bleed through, it's not going to be that obvious by the time I've layered up all my other colours. And you probably have already guessed that I'll be using coloured waxes right at the very end of this as well to grunge it up a little bit. So I'm not going to be needing to prime with this piece. I would be priming if I was using lighter colours, or if I wanted a perfectly painted finish. But we all know that we don't do that on this channel very often. So like I said, this is just a base coat. That's why I'm kind of putting it on quite awkwardly. I don't want full coverage. I want to see a little bit of the wood peeking through. That's just going to help with that layered distress look. And this is a really, really quick way of just adding on a base coat of colour just to start the process off. Like I said, it's not perfect. I am switching the roll around in lots of different positions so that I don't get any kind of linear marks. And again, I don't want full coverage. I don't mind that the paint's a little bit thicker in certain areas, and in others it's a lot thinner. And then, like I said, again, a little bit of wood peeking through is exactly the kind of look that I wanted. There's not a huge amount of detail on this piece apart from the metal fretwork on the door, so I decided to add a raised stencil using Dixie Mud on the single drawer at the very bottom of the piece. This is something that I covered in detail over in my YouTube membership, and you can find details of how to join in the description below this video. So the barn red, which is the first colour that I applied, has now dried. The second colour that I'm going to use is also a red, but this one is a lot lighter and brighter. This one's called Honky Tonk Red. They're both colours from Dixie Belle's chalk mineral paint range. As always, I'll link all of the colours and products that I've used in the description below this video. And I'm applying it with an ink roller. So this is like a rubber roller. So obviously it's not foam. It's not going to kind of sink into all the different kind of bits of texture that the wood has got and that I've already created with my base colour. So it's going to miss areas, which is exactly the look that I want, because that's going to give me that heavily distressed layered look. So you're kind of relying on the roller to do the work for you, because it's totally random. You can't make these kind of marks using a brush. You just can't do it. I mean, you can do something similar, but the beauty of using a roller is that it is completely random. You don't really know what you're going to get. Obviously, you can control it to a certain degree. You can adjust how much paint you're putting down and how much coverage you're going to get. But ultimately, these are completely random marks, which is why it makes it so much fun. So I just had a little play around with putting the red on with the roller. And then obviously, because there's some kind of more intricate details on this piece around the top and the bottom, I couldn't quite reach them with the roller because it does have like a metal kind of bracket on the end which holds the roller in place, and it wouldn't let me quite get into all the nooks and crannies. So I'm using a scraper because that's the next closest thing that's going to give me the similar kind of look. Obviously, it's going to rely on, you know, the scraper being flat, and obviously the surface is a bit textured. So again, it's going to miss certain areas and give a similar effect. Once the Dixie Mud was dry on the drawer front, I just sanded it smooth with a 220 grit sandpaper, just to make it nice and smooth and make sure there was no unwanted texture on there, and then just vacuumed the dust up. So I want this to look like it's part of the cabinet. So I'm going to give it the same base colour as the rest of it, which is barn red. And this is the only bit that I used a brush for. Every time you see me using another colour, know that the colours before that are now dry. So the Honky Tonk red, which is the colour that I applied with my ink roller, has now dried. And then I'm going to use a little bit of Antebellum blue because blue and red are complementary colours, and this is really going to make the red pop. I just think it's going to add a little bit of dimension to the piece as well, because like I said, apart from the detail on the door and now the front of the drawer, which I've created myself using a raised stencil, there's not a lot going on. It's kind of flat, it's kind of boring. So this is going to help just break up that kind of flat space on the front, and it really contrasts quite nicely against the vivid red. I wanted a little bit more precision and accuracy when I'm applying the blue, so I'm using a scraper, not a roller, for this particular part, because I don't want to go too heavy on the blue. I don't want it to take over. I still want red to be the main colour, but I just wanted to introduce some little bits of blue to help define certain areas and to just add a little bit of dimension and contrast. Again, it's quite a forgiving process, because if you add too much in a particular area and you don't like it, you can always layer over it with your base colours. It's not too much of a problem, so you don't need to be really precise with where you're putting your blue, kind of just where you think it might work. I went in quite heavy around the drawer edges because it is quite a flat drawer. There's no detail on there again, so I wanted to kind of make sure that that was something that would define where the drawer was. And then once the blue was dry, I then went back in with my base colour, which is barn red, with my ink roller, and I also added more Honky Tonk red on top of that as well once the barn red was dry. So it's really just a layering process that helps give the authenticity and that depth to the paint finish, and it's really just about playing around with colour and layers. Obviously you can see now I'm erasing some of the blue and just pushing that into the background a little bit, and then again just playing around with it and getting it to a place where I like the result. Next thing I did to my piece is got a bit of sandpaper and just scuffed up the edges and corners. That's just going to help give this a kind of distressed rustic look, which is obviously in keeping with the vibe of the piece. And then for the interior, I was in kind of two minds whether to paint it or whether to keep the wood grain. I went with the latter because the interior was also waxed and I didn't want to go to the trouble of stripping that out, if I'm honest. So I'm using Big Mama's Butta. I use this on most projects where I leave the interior of the piece wood grain because it's a really, really lovely product to use. This is the scent Orange Grove, which is my all-time favourite smell. And it's a wood nourishing butter, which means it's just a soft wax. It's got lots of wood nourishing ingredients in it, and you can use it over the top of an existing finish, so you don't have to strip your finish back to bare wood in order to use it. I just apply it with a La Petite brush and then buff the excess off once it's been sat on the surface for a few minutes, and that just gives a really gorgeous sheen and nourishment to the wood grain, just enhances what's already there. For the rest of the piece, obviously I'm going to finish this using my favourite type of top coat, and that is wax. So first I always apply a coat of clear wax, and then I apply my coloured wax after. The reason for that is just because you get more control over your coloured wax if you want to pull areas back. I don't know who I'm talking to, by the way, in this video. Could be myself, I could be singing, I'm not entirely sure, so just ignore that bit. But you get more control over your coloured waxes if you put your clear wax down first. So I can apply this black wax quite liberally and quite roughly, knowing that if I make a mistake and want to pull areas back, I can do that because I've already created a barrier between my paint and my coloured wax, which is my clear wax. So for this one, I'm using black wax, and I'm just applying it with a premium chip brush, and I'm just whacking it on in areas where I want to create a little bit of depth and shading, which is all around the edges, the corners and the recesses. And as always, every time you use a wax product, always make sure to give it a buff. This is just going to remove the excess, stop your surface feeling tacky, and give your piece a nice sheen. As always, there's a few close-ups of the finished piece. You can just see the raised stencil there on the drawer front, a little bit of a close-up of the texture and the layers, and here is the final piece. As always, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel, and I'll catch you next time. Bye!